Welcome to the second ever episode of Aussie Legends TV. This episode, I will be interviewing one member of the Narangatangs and former IPW Tag Team Champion, the star of Narang, Ethan Shay. Thanks for doing this interview.
No worries. Yeah, of course. It's good fun. There we go. Oh my goodness. I feel so unprofessional. Yes. Wait. That's awesome, man. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, I love the Sami Zayn movement too.
Yeah, I thought that would fit.
Yeah, it's got so much passion to it, you know? Yeah.
If you're ready for the first question.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man.
So how did you discover wrestling?
So when I was about 3 or 4, I was scrolling through. It was OzStar at the time, not even Foxtel.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was just looking for something to watch, and at the time, I could only watch cartoons, but I was just scrolling through, and I found a channel, and I saw Dolph Ziggler doing a debut promo backstage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, promoting himself as perfection and everything, and I just thought, damn, this guy is awesome. And from that moment on, honestly, I was hooked. And yeah, so I'd say it's about 2008, and I was just scrolling through TV.
Wow.
Yeah.
To become a wrestler, how was the training like?
The training was grueling, to be honest. It was really fun because it becomes like a brotherhood. But yeah, it was a big shock for me, because the first time, someone whips you off the ropes and the clothesline, you go to the ground. Oh my goodness, it hurts, mate.
Yeah.
It bloody hurts. And yeah, it was hectic. When I first started training, we were just in a dojo as well, so we didn't even have a ring to use.
Oh, okay.
Now we do. It's a brilliant facility that we have now. But yeah, so I remember it took me almost 3 years of training, and that's including the massive COVID break.
Yeah.
Before I actually made my debut. So it took me a long time, and it was a lot of hard work.
What was your debut like? What were you thinking when you made your first entrance into the story?
So when I made my first entrance, I remember just getting everything together because I wasn't completely prepared. But and I wasn't I didn't have the full red tracksuit. I had Adidas shorts.
Yeah.
And I think I had the same shirt I have now, the Nike white shirt, but instead of the singlet, it was an actual shirt. Over the years I cut that singlet. But yeah, so that was my fit, and I had a buzz cut at the time, so there was no mullet. Yeah, it was pretty hectic.
Scooter.
Yeah, I did have the scooter, I believe. Yeah, and yeah, stole that off some kid at the Trano. But yeah, mate, the person I was back then, hey. But yeah, so I stepped out there, and I remember everything just went so quickly.
Yeah, I remember. being in the crowd, and me and my friends just thought, wait, I thought we saw a scooter like that with some other kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's how it is in Narang, you know. Yeah, yeah. And I got one for Slammer a few months later, and that was off the side of the road. But yeah, so I made my entrance. It went really quickly, and I got in the ring. And I remember asking, everybody, what shoe size are you? Can I have a durry? You know, and no one was tempted. And I told Scorn and Ash, oh, you dogs, you bloody dogs. And yeah, I got flipped and stomped by everyone. So my first entrance hurt.
What, what were you thinking when you were walking up the ramp after the match?
After the match, so it was the Rumble. So um, I I felt really, I was a bit dejected because I lost.
Yeah.
I was only in there for a couple minutes, and I had also lost my TNs in that amount of time. Yeah, bloody Wake Hole's most wanted, Cockroach and Skinny D
Oh yeah.
stole my TN, so I was walking back TN-less and without a chance at the World Championship. So I didn't feel that great, but
Yeah.
I knew that I could make a lot of improvements from that point forward, and I was just proud of myself for making it to that point.
Yeah. Very proud moment. And maybe one day we'll see those tag teams fight each other. Yours versus the most wanted.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah,
So
I'd
good.
honestly love that. It's Skinny D's not around anymore, but Cockroach and what's his name? Uh oh,
Tommy?
Jack Tar.
Jack
Jack
Tar.
Tar, the guy who used to be obsessed with boats.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And now
Um
I think they just got out of jail yesterday.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's always how it is with them. Yeah, they're in and out those two. So that would be a bloody war. Yep.
So if you could choose any moment in like history, what would be your dream match? Like wrestler and stipulation, arena.
That's a brilliant question. Probably for me, my childhood hero was John Cena.
So
Yeah, and although I would love to wrestle him, my dream match would probably be Bryan Danielson.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he's just technically brilliant, and I would wrestle him in a steel cage.
Oh yeah, that would be
Um,
awesome.
yeah, I've never done a steel cage match before, and I just think that'd be pretty awesome.
Maybe at WrestleMania. Full-
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, location, yeah, WrestleMania, 100%. Yeah.
talking about that, where do you see yourself in like 5 years or 10?
So, so I'd say just going back, 5 years ago is when I started. I
Yeah,
was 15 at the time. Now I'm 21. I'd say when I'm 26 to 31 years old, I'd like to be trying out for the WWE. And I'd say at that stage, I'd like to have some experience overseas under my belt. Personally, I would love to wrestle over in Japan, show them what an esche is.
yeah,
And
to be educated.
especially, sorry?
They need to be educated, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They have no idea.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that would be really cool. And then yeah, then I'd love to travel to places like UK, Germany, and particularly the States and Canada.
yeah,
Learn from the best, and then yeah, at any point within the 5 to 10 years, if I'm even trying out for the WWE and getting close, I'll be bloody chuffed.
yeah. And
Yeah.
like Australian wrestling is getting more popular.
Yep. Yep.
saw like AEW and WWE are sending out scouts next year.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, they send out scouts just about. Uh, I reckon they probably do every year, but we just have no idea.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's who I'm trying to get to look at me, and then from there it'd be a long process. But even with the new system of the WWE ID, that would be amazing, you know, because there's a few schools I could go to that could get me scouted out. But hey, that's a long time down the road.
yeah,
Yeah, but anything's possible.
yeah. Just keep focusing on tag gold or the heavyweight.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, that heavyweight's looking real tasty this year. Yeah,
Talking
man.
about that, what was it like winning your first championship?
Uh, so that was March last year. That was amazing. The IPW Tag Team Championships alongside Slammer and being managed by Nathan Rang. That was, I reckon that was the best moment of my life, to be honest. It like, it was just utter euphoria is the best word
Yeah,
that I can use
I did see like a
to
photo.
describe it.
Yeah, I did see a
Um,
photo out there of you screaming like "yes." Um,
yes, mate. Yup. Yeah, I got very loud that night. And yeah, it was a lot of work to overcome a team like the Worst Generation,
yeah,
the Mutt, and Blair Hex. Although they are dogs and they're bloody mean guys. They're good opponents. They're formidable. So yeah, I was really chuffed, and yeah, it's hard to put into words, but yeah, it's better than any other feeling I've ever had.
yeah. And later on, you would have an injury to your foot. Is it?
Leg and ankle.
Yeah.
So what do you want to know about that?
What was it like going out in front of the crowd and gave that statement before the match?
Um, that was heartbreaking. Yeah, I never thought I'd have to do that as a wrestler. You know, it just doesn't cross your mind.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, so I was already a month in at that stage. So at that stage, even I was already in a I was still in a lot of pain. So even just going out there was a challenge. Even making it to Dreamworld was a challenge. But yeah, going out there and having to tell the crowd that, hey, you know, I've broken my leg,
yeah,
and I can't defend this title for you guys anymore was, yeah, it's like I went from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, and I've said that in my promo, but it is the truth.
yeah.
Yeah.
On a positive note, what about your return at the Christmas Rumble at number 2?
It was amazing. Yeah, so the doctors told me it would be at least a year until I'd step foot in the ring again or even train.
Okay.
But you know, I worked my butt off, and I got to the point where my ankle was flexible and strong enough. Um, and yeah, that moment, oh, it was just, I don't know. Since May this year when I broke it, it's the moment I've been waiting for ages and ages, and
Yeah.
to see everybody again, including you. Yeah, it was just it was awesome, and I don't think it was quite as much of a high as winning the championship, but still, it was just so good to have that feeling back.
Yeah, when you made your entrance, people were like, when you took off the hood, I just saw
Yeah,
all
man.
these people jump up, cheering. I think I've never heard Eshe that many times in one sitting.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, I think I was so in the moment I forgot to scream Eshe on stage.
Yeah, because Don't worry about that. The kid right behind me, directly into my ear, yelled out "Eshe."
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. The influence I'm doing on these kids is pretty hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh mate, I they'd be in their schools going, "Hey, shame, I'm getting detentions left and right." Oh yeah, no, that would yeah. That's honestly to hear that, you know, those essays is something that I've heard even from, you know, my second match out there. And yeah, it's just gotten louder and louder over the years, and that was the loudest yet.
yeah.
Yep.
And like the crowd just loved to see the return, and I
Yeah.
did see some surprise, like people were shocked.
Yeah, yeah. Not a lot of people expected it that early. How the doctors didn't, you know.
Yeah. Like when I saw your video on Instagram, I was like, I feel like he'll return, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. That was the teaser, you know, and people who knew me, you know, thought, oh yeah, it's time. But some people who didn't were like, who's this guy? You know? But yeah, there's a lot of people in the crowd, especially young ones, who never had seen that video before
Yeah.
until that point. So that was really special for me, and we had a like that video took a lot of work. It took us about 6 to 9 hours total between you know, filming, recording, and editing. Yeah, yeah.
So when did you film that?
That was 2 to 3 weeks beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah, over the course of a few days, and yeah, so it was literally after training one night. Me and my bro went down to the gym, filmed those videos of me working hard like I have this whole time,
Yeah.
you know. And yeah, then film me walking down to the Nerang train station because, you know, growing up in Nerang, that's it really is my land. You know, I
Yeah.
feel like I know the entirety of Nerang like the back of my hand, and that's genuine. You know.
Yeah, I even saw you in the rank.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Yeah,
was
before the show, I saw you in Nerang.
that was such a cool moment. I just heard like "Hey," and I was like, maybe it's like someone I used to know, and then I heard Aussie Legends. I'm like, that's new.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Nah, we were. What were we doing? We had just gone to the reject shop to get some Santa
Yeah,
hats.
and I was going to like the op shop.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, yeah. And then I just went and bought those gloves immediately
Yeah.
afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
About the tag team that you returned with, how did that come to be? How did the Orangutangs team
Oh,
up?
yep. So it was my first show, and Slammer or Slam and Sam comes up to me and says, "Look, bro, I love what you're doing, and I want to be, you know, I want us to be a tag team, yeah." And you know, I said, "Look, that's a good idea, but I get to choose our name." You
Yeah.
know, because he came to me with the idea of the Gold Coast Eshays,
Okay.
which doesn't have the same ring to it as the Orangutans. So yeah, I said, look, we can be the Orangutans, and at first he was like, look, I don't want to use the bum bag, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. So it was maybe our second or third match on a show. We were facing Blunt Force Trauma, the current tag team champions
Yeah.
at the time. And yeah, so I was wearing my bum bag, wearing my full red Nike tracksuit fit, and I presented with him the bum bag in the middle of the ring, and said, "Take it, Va, take it." And eventually, he let me put it on him, and that right there was the birth of orangutans.
Yeah.
Um, and then it was later on, about a year later, that Nathan Rang joined us, and he was as Eshe as could be. And he's been a brilliant manager for us since. He's really helped us. He helped us win the tag team championships for one, and yeah, he's the money maker in the company. He is. He's the brains. Yeah.
Another thing I'm gonna do is one word, one wrestler. So I'll give you a wrestler and you describe them in one word.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. Nathan Rang.
Uh, Legend.
Sam. Slamming Sam.
Oh, Slammer.
Chad Atlas.
Dog. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did that come through?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a
Uh,
dog.
Eugenie. Eugenie.
Oh, cool.
Cool. LFB.
Flippy.
And King Pirate on the commentary.
Oh. Now, I'm going to add a few words. He talks crap about me every show from that commentary desk. Every show. So, for that one, oh, Gronk.
Cool. I even remember you two pushing each other outside William Duncan.
Yes, yeah. We beat him up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, as deserved, because at the time the orangutans weren't going to deal with anybody taking their time, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to go down to the Narang station to roll some grannies. Yeah.
And I also got some fan questions I got from Instagram.
Yep.
So, Doc asked, what would a wrestler intro sound and look like, etc.?
Everybody's unique, you know. So for me, I go out onto the stage. I take a few seconds, so I scream "Eshe" as loud as I can. I look around to the crowd, and for me, my entrance, it doesn't have any pyro to it because I can't afford fireworks.
I don't think anyone in Narang can, so that's accurate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There are people who have backyard firework parties occasionally, like New Year's, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so for me, I use the scooter as part of my entrance. And yeah, I don't really think about the entrance. I've not once before a show have I gone over an entrance and been like, yep, this is the one. It's always just been going out there and doing what I feel like.
Yeah, like moving off the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'll always like go around the crowd, like high five everyone, and then yeah, I'll up on the step up on the second rope, slap that post because it means a lot to me, and then yep, just scream as loud as I can. Scream. I used to scream at the crowd, but now I scream with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's there's not a lot to it, but yeah, it's just getting the crowd hyped, and I think the biggest thing, it's deeper than all those material things like pyro and all that. It's bringing the passion during that entrance to get the crowd hyped, because that's the biggest factor for me. Yeah.
Yeah, you mainly remember the wrestler, not his entrance. Like
Yeah,
the energy he
exactly.
brings into it makes it good.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's also the passion that you just bring during the entrance. It's not what you do; it's how you carry yourself.
Yep. And I got another one from Tom J. P. Tan. What sort
Mm.
of meditation do you do before preparing for a match? Do you have anything you do?
That's a really good question. So it wasn't exactly meditation, but in a way it was. So for years before my matches, I used to drink two of those small blue V cans to
Okay.
get myself hyped. And then I'd also listen to the entirety of Kid Cudi's second album. And that's Kid Cudi Man on the Moon too. I believe it is. No, is it? Yeah, it is Man on the Moon too. So that one I don't listen to anymore before shows because it's like got super depressing songs and everything. Um, but yeah, I'd listen to that. And these days, I'll listen to music before shows. I'd listen to upbeat music, and I'll just find a corner in the locker room and get myself into the zone. Yeah.
Another one is will we ever get more merch?
Look, it's been a little while since we've had some merch on the table.
Yeah.
I get that. I do get that. We do have our current Orangutangs merch. But yeah, we've got to get some new ones. So I'd say probably not by January, but by February we'll have some more merch, and it'll be different merch as well. It won't just be Orangutans merch. It'll be Eshe centric.
Do you have any ideas to make it more Eshe?
Yeah. Like my idea for some merch. This is a bit of a teaser for anybody who's watching this. It'll be just me on a scooter, and have it be a cartoon of me.
Cool.
Yeah, and I want to have like a real big head as well to accentuate the mullet.
Like Funko.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And not quite that sort of design, but like a real grimy sort of design. Yeah. And yeah, have me on the scooter with my bum bag and everything and the full fit. And yeah, I think that's the next set of merch I'll come out with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe have like a drawing of Narang and just have Eshe over it.
Yeah, I'd have to find somewhere like good, maybe like the Narang skate park or the train station.
Yeah.
Have a drawing of that. Yeah, I have no idea where the borders are for Narang though. I just know it runs along the train line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you have any funny stories from backstage?
Oh, that's a good question. I know at the last show, Kaiju and Sledgehammer coming back completely covered in blood.
Yeah.
That was hectic. And okay, so one for me. So it was after my last defense for the tag team championships. It was the tag team turmoil match in which we came out third, and we ended up having to face both the Worst Generation and then after that Blunt Force Trauma.
Yeah.
So the Worst Generation, and I think this is the reason why Blair Hex hit me with a scooter to get disqualified, and he hit Slammer over the back of it with one of our scooters. And I think I got very dizzy from that. And I still had to survive another 10-15 minutes in the ring with Blunt Force Trauma after that.
Throwing you around.
And yeah, I only just about got it. Sorry?
Just throwing you around.
They were. Yeah, we honestly got dominated most of that match. We got a little bit of offense in. But yeah, it was at the very end, Scorn set me up. He went for a choke slam, and I'd seen this choke slam before. I know it's one of his most powerful moves, and if I had taken that, I might have been out for the count. So, I went up, I wrapped both legs around his chest, flipped forward, and in that moment, I got so nauseous. So I pinned the legs. Fortunately, I got him. He kicked out, and I rolled out the ring, making me even more nauseous. Getting kicked out, and even as I climbed up on the stage, I remember Dick Brutal got out of the ring and gave me a few solid stomps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I raised the belt, and you'll see in the video I had to leave very quickly because as soon as I got backstage, I bloody puked it all into the bin. And oh mate, I was so nauseous. It was hectic. Yeah, that's how much I was beat up that match. And yeah, I went backstage and I saw bruises on my arms and on my chest. Oh, I got chopped so many times. Yeah, it was
How did
hectic. And not even like on the shirt. They lifted up the shirt just to bloody, hurt me. Yeah.
you definitely got your work done for the titles?
Ain't that the truth, brother? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was good fun though, That defense was my favorite.
Yeah. So, with that being your favorite, would you do it again?
If I had to win the championships, hell yeah. Absolutely, I'd do it again. I'd do it again 100 times.
So, do you know what? Will we see you the next IPW show at the
Yes, you
champion?
will. Yep. And yep, I can't really reveal too much about who I'm gonna be facing, but that bloody dog Roberto Pacino, we had a good brawl in the Rumble, and back in June when I had to relinquish my belt, he came out right. Um, he called me all these bad names. He treated me horribly when he came out there, and ended up beating up Slammer and beating him, which really ticked me off. And to the point, his tag partner James Jager pushed
Yeah.
me over in the chair on the outside, and look, my moon boot hit the barricade, so that was killer as I went over, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, look. Decadence are gonna get theirs.
Yeah.
Both of them. First, I want Rob because he bloody killed me. He ripped me a new one, and I used to be a tag partner with him, and I thought I could trust him, but I can't anymore. So I'm gonna come after him, and I'm gonna beat him up on the next show.
Can't wait.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. So you've versed the worst generation a couple of times.
Yep, yep.
Um, you used to team with Chad Atlas. What was that like now?
Uh, when I
Give us a
teamed
one
with Chad
time.
Atlas, um, see, I had bad morals at the time. I wasn't a good guy, So, but even then, at the time, my morals were I want to beat up Toa because he beat me up in his first match. Um, and so yeah, that was it. And I even teamed with Roberto that night as well. Um, but yeah, so Chad, I remember his words were, "These are my tools, and I'm going to use them to beat you, Toa." And when he referred to me as a tool, I think since that moment, I've wanted revenge against Chad Atlas, and I've never once been in the ring across from the man.
Yeah,
And that,
I did go
sorry,
back and watched a couple of clips, and that was one of them.
yeah,
You have a lot of full circle opportunities if it's versing the tag team or Chad Atlas or Toa.
yeah, yeah. That's 100% true, and yeah, there's a lot of guys in IPW, and I've not once had a singles match as the Eshe, and since that, um, like I've had 3 years of just doing tag matches, so this year, stuff Slammer off because I still have heaps of respect for him and everything. But this year, I want to beat up people myself and prove to the IPW audience that I can beat them up.
Do you
You
have
know,
anyone to go you would like to fight first?
uh, Rob,
Rob.
the hyper male Rob, who used to be Roberto Pacino, and that's how I'll refer to him from now on.
Yeah.
But yeah, him, James Jager, uh, specifically Chad, the Mutt. There's a lot of people that I really want to beat up. Blair Hex. Yeah, there's a lot of people who have done me wrong. In IPW. Guys like Scorn. would be a really fun match.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, and even Sledgehammer, Daikaiju, we faced in a tag match, but not in a one-on-one sense. There's a lot of guys in IPW that I really want to face. Even Rip Riley, and then a dream would be like Jesse Love. You know,
Oh
he
yeah.
was there for my first training back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sorry, go on.
remember all my friends' favorite wrestlers were Jesse Love. I think I was
Oh,
the
yeah,
only
yeah,
one that chose someone else.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, Jesse Love is a brilliant wrestler. He's got a lot of technique to him, but he's got a massive ego, and I want to
Yeah,
shut that ego up. Yeah.
definitely he has an ego.
Yes, man. Yep.
So I have no more questions. You want to take time to advertise some shows, merch, socials?
Yeah, mate. Socials at Eshe Wrestler on Instagram. That's it. Oh, and TikTok too. I have that.
Okay.
And that's the same Eshe Wrestler. And yeah, so Beach Riot, January 25. I'm gonna be there, and hopefully, if I get my wish, I'm gonna be beating up that dog Roberto.
Yep.
Yeah,
I do really want to see a singles fight.
yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Well, you'll be getting more than your what's the saying? More than what you wish for this year.
Maybe
Yeah,
bring back the scooter for some revenge.
good idea. Good idea. Yeah, I
Yep.
will. I will, mate. Yeah, maybe not this show because yeah, but eventually I'm gonna get it. Maybe it'll be backstage. He won't see it coming.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, that's it. You know, Beach Riot, January 25 at Dreamworld Night Markets. Yep, I'm gonna be beating up some dogs, and it's always great wrestling.
Yep.
Yeah,
I definitely enjoyed it.
awesome. I'm so good to hear that. So happy to hear that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's sick, bro. Yeah.
Thanks for doing the interview.
Yeah, no worries. All right, mate. Have a great day, eh?
You too. See
All
ya.
right. Peace.
Editing here. I just want to say thank you to everybody that watched, and another thank you if you were the ones that put in the questions for the interview, and a special thank you to Ethan Shay. Should definitely check out his wrestling matches on YouTube or at the actual shows at IPW. And some good news, I'm in talks to doing another interview just next week. So thank you for watching, everybody. Have a good day.